Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Um, hello, hello, hello. Okay. Go with a few notes, I guess. Hello. Okay, they use a tight reg. Things that we know. Um, your bet range equals top of range. Next to ISO shove. Top of his range too. And ISO. ISO. Is not rebarreled off high frequency. Uh, very merge turn. See bet range. What else should we keep in mind? He can check raise river as bluff with blockers. Note that that's one of his few bluff spots. I don't think that there's much point in trapping him on the river. I think he likes to check back middling equity a lot on the river. That's it for now. Note that you want to min raise. You want to limp ace 10 off a bit more than you want to raise it. Played at 1.5 speed. Right off the bat, I mean, he's pretty tight, but I don't really like playing a3 off. Tio folds it, so I think you're kind of just better off folding it, but I guess maybe you can exploit versus a reg. His check raise, what do we say about his check raise range? Um, when he can be check raise happy, but if he shuts down on turn a lot, so like something that he's gonna do often is he's gonna check raise flop, and if he continues betting, then a lot of times he's gonna have it. But if he shuts down on the turn, you could fire off on the river, pretty liberally. You don't want to be defending 4-3 off either. Just monk that. Oh yeah. Also note, more things on the note. He has some sizing tells. Turn pot. Strong. River half pot. Small bet. Fuck. Did I skip forward? Alright, we'll make it 1.25. Actually, I kind of like. I think you should be min raising ace king off a lot. Over here. It's so these are just like small frequency things, but I'm not sure if you're RNGing them. So if you're not gonna be RNGing them, like Ace 10 off earlier, um, it's a higher frequency limp, and I don't think you're RNGing it to limp it. An Ace King off is a higher frequency min raise, and I don't think you're min raising that. So I mean, I don't think you're RNGing that either. I don't mind floating. It's okay to fold. You have anti blockers there, so it's a good fold. Right. Be cool if you popped it up to see what he had. Probably a pair, I guess. You wanna ISO ace five suited bigs. Oh, actually, you know what? No, you're right. You can check it. Sorry, forget that. If you're gonna ISO 7-3 off though, make it a big ISO. I like to continue here. Um, you can hit a lot of stuff on there. If you hit a 4, 5, or ace, a lot of the time you're good. So I kind of like continuing when he bets the turn, but and especially since he didn't use his pot size, which generally is value. Kind of want to continue there too. It's a bit of a tight fold. You have a lot of backdoors. Check is fine. Queen four off. I'm pretty. Queen four off is like always a jam at or six bigs rather. Yeah, easy call. Just let him get it in. Versus love here, I kind of like to start betting on the turn. Just because he's not gonna be bluffing a lot on the turn. Um, kind of a weird spot though, because his turn bets are really merged. So I guess he's not gonna have a lot of bluffs. So I guess it's okay to trap it again. But I'm under the impression like so when you river a boat here, um, you kind of don't really like betting too much, but at the same time, you know he's not really gonna bluff. So I kind of like the idea of just starting to bet when you have it. So like I'm under the impression he's just gonna snap fold here. I might be wrong. With like a nine, he's gonna snap fold. Like he's incapable of. Anyway. Yep, as noted, his free bet jamming range is pretty strong as well. He just doesn't have any bluffs in those spots. I think you could value bet the jack here. Um, it's very thin, like super thin, but I think a lot of times he's gonna be value betting his queen on the turn. And given that he checks, um, that gives you a lot of that lets you call. I mean, that lets you value bet versus his eights a lot on that spot. All right, C bet's fine. I like to check my weaker kickers here on the top, but I guess since you have a few straight backdoors, betting's fine. But just general rule of thumb, middling kickers, I like to check. I think you have to upsize here a tiny bit. 60% is a bit small. I don't think you get too many things to fold, and you wanna, yeah, yeah. I think you empty the clip here a lot of times. Hopefully, yeah, that's good. Yep, if you use a big ISO in your strategy, that's good. So if you're using a big ISO, this is you want to be a bit shorter, like 8 bigs. But I don't mind the bet over here, but I think you have to check a lot. Just because you have a king, you can go to showdown, and I don't think you're getting him to fold any of his pairs. I think you're just better off just checking, even though an ace peels. Like if you had like 10 high, I'd be okay with you betting a bit more. Yep, he uses pot. It's an easy. Kind of like calling there, but I don't mind if you fold. I guess. Again, a lot of backdoors. Pretty sure this is a jam. Yeah, okay. Mixed frequency jam. Min click is interesting size. Probably get it in. You're always double barreling here. Good. But he probably has a 6. Like the flat. Carrying a flush draw. Seems like he uses a lot of small sizing. Guess he's not running that hot. Not a big fan of the donk jam. Guess it works out. Maybe just because I don't have that part of my game. I think he's jamming a lot of the time when he has it though. Anyway, not sure how I feel about. Oh, he's getting creative versus you. It's a shove 7-4 suited. He doesn't do any of those things versus me. You could have continued barreling with the ace on the top, or like bet the turn. Because how did the action go? Same, you don't have action. Oh yeah, you do. Okay, so raise flop, check check flop. You could start betting on that turn because a lot of your sixes are checking, and when the six pairs, you could try to get him off some hand. Um, make 4-5 a bit on it. I mean, you block it, so you could start turning your hand into a bluff. Anyway, I'm okay with checking all the way as well. Good turn, good river though. I like the fold on the top, never bluff. He definitely has a 7 on the bottom. Bottom right. Finding bluffs. So far, playing pretty well. I think I defend queen. Kind of like continuing on this turn. Um, any heart, any 5, pretty happy, and you can keep repping an ace. Yeah, you just give up there. I think. You want to be open shoving at 8. Ten's a bit bad. Easy call in the bottom. So he's finding a lot of bluffs against you. Which is interesting. I guess he thinks you're a bit tight. Jack 8 off should be a shove a lot of times here. don't think there's a point in floating. Not versus love, especially when he pots way too tight. Yeah, you're a bit liberal with the shove with 7-6 off. You want to do that at a lower frequency at 10 bigs and around 8 bigs. And you can start shoving it almost 100%. Above that, you have to do it a bit tighter. See, 5-4 suited should be a jam 100% there. So there's like a bit of inaccuracies pre-flop that I'm seeing. But it's not a big deal, I guess. This is a gay spot. I mean, you're kind of forced to call. You block 4-5. I mean, I don't mind you folding here either. Versus a normal opponent, I'm snap calling this, but okay, wait, let's see. You block spades. You don't block spades. Does love ever bluff betting pot on the river? I think I make a really unhappy call here. Block 4-5. I unblock spades. Probably repping a straight here a lot. Doesn't really have many queens. I think I end up calling all that, but whatever. He's really tight, so I don't. It. Just from any other opponent, I think that's a bleeding money fold. Should be 7, not 7.5 on the top if you're gonna use a big ISO again. I think you can float one. It's interesting that you opt to float here versus a bigger size, and you fold here, the smaller size, with a lot more backdoors that you could hit or represent. Over here you can only hit a 6. I'm gonna screenshot. So this is the one hand. So in this spot, you decide to float to his 75% bet on a paired board. So I guess sure he maybe has less pairs since it's a paired board. Thing is on this hand, if a spade falls, if a 5 falls, if a 4 falls, an 8 comes, even a jack, like you could rip it on the river. Versus here, the only thing you can kind of shove with on the top right is a 6, I guess. Like, are you? I guess a 6 and a 3 are the only things that you could jam with. You're not really happy if he checks and a lot of things come. Like, you don't really have a continuing bluff range over here, which is, you're kind of just floating and hoping that he gives up or you hit or something. There's in this spot, like there's so many things that you can kind of improve with your blockers that you can kind of bluff and rip into, which I think why in the left it's a lot better to flat versus over here. I guess you're also shorter, but I don't think that's very relevant. If you're using a big ISO sizing, I guess it still mixes it, so it's fine. Just jam it over here. Yeah, so he likes to limb trap top of his range a lot too. I forgot to add that in the notes. Not a big fan of. So here's one thing that I'm seeing that's a bit conflicting with the way you're playing these ranges. Is it seems like you're mixing GTO and skier ranges. Um, I don't even know if GTO actually even jams there. Skier flats this a lot. Small percentage of 2.5x 3 bet, but jamming is probably very rarely the right play. I can see bet 100%. Probably double barrel. I don't mind the check bet over here though. He decides to lead here. I think you just give it up. Kind of a shit river. Yeah, this is also an inaccuracy. You don't really want to do it with like at 20 bigs, you're not really doing 5.5 with anything. Um, you could Skier uses a 4.5 over here if you're gonna do that with Ace Jack suited, but 5.5 is kind of a mistake for your sizings. Um, your size here should be 3 or 4.5. I'm okay with this bluff. I think you can go a bit bigger, probably even a pot. Hoping you go. Oh, okay. Easy, just get in, I guess. No point in trapping him. You wanna bet this almost 100%. Top with an a6. That should be a call. Four bigs effective? It's four bigs effective. I thought it was three, so never mind what I said there. You could min raise that at 14 bigs. 14, 15. Check raise. Call here. You get a 9 deuce off as part of your big ISO for your bluffs. Min raising aces is probably your only min raise at 12 bigs, so Interesting spot here. I like bluffing a lot here. 'Cause I don't think you're ever winning with 8 high. He just happened to pick up a queen that I think you might still fold. Seems like you're betting 100% of your top pairs, regardless of kicker. Um, might want to balance some checks into there. GTO checks back a lot of your bottom kickers. Like this would probably be a check, almost 100%. Of this one, it probably bets a certain frequency. Probably always. You shouldn't be 3xing. How deep is it? 12? Fuck. Okay, 12, never mind, it's fine. Uh, I don't know if King Deuce. I'm pretty sure King Deuce. Yeah, King Deuce is a shove, 100%, 10 bigs. Ten bigs, you should be using a 4x ISO sizing as your big size. 3.5 is not accurate. So I think one of the biggest issues that I'm seeing is that there's a few mistakes with your pre-flop sizes with your hands. I mean, like the concepts are good, but the sizings are a bit wrong. So there's slight inaccuracies. That might be one of those things that you were talking to me about having a donking range. Um, you might want to. I'm noticing that you don't three-bet that much, but I guess that's also part of him not min raising that much. But if you were to three-bet, this would be a pretty decent hit. I think you could value bet the river on the bottom right. Um, his threes are always betting turn, probably even flop. So I think merits. He's not gonna be bluffing or value betting his fours or fives. I think it merits a bet on the river here. I think he upsized, so flatting is a bit better. Pretty small. Interesting. I think he has a 7 a lot here. I think you don't have to go that small. Yeah. I don't think he's folding 7 with king kicker, even if you go like half pot. You didn't have to go that. He's not going to be putting you on an ace ever. Yeah, okay. I guess I'm a bit quiet. I'll try to get a bit closer. Kind of want you to raise here. I don't mind the check, but it's hard for me to think of what he's really repping here. I don't think he's repping much. I don't mind. This feels like a really thin value bet. He's really not repping that much at all. That you can kind of even flat. You're you're unblocking the diamonds, the hearts that he might continue on the flop with. So I kind of like a raise a lot, but I'm probably value bet on the bottom left. Again, you're like, here's the thing, right? You're trapping too much against him, but we know that his turn range is super merged. So if he has value, he's betting on the turn. Or if he has decent value, so you can squeeze in a bit more value bets on the river when you have it. There's no real point in trapping him on the river because if he has a 4 here, if he has a 5, he's probably gonna be checking it a lot, or even an 8. He's gonna get scared when that river 10 comes. He's not gonna want to value bet that. So I think you're missing out on a lot of value when you check on the river. Even if he folds, it's fine. Um, or you can just bet really small and have him induce a raise from him because that's probably one of his only bluffs is raising when you bet on the river. If he has like a 6 or a 7 blocker, he might raise it here, which would be a pretty okay call. Like he might put you in a bit of a tough spot here, but I don't think you can really fold your king if he raises you here either. Given that his turn range is merged, so I think you kind of miss value betting there as well. Kind of like continuing a bet here. Again, holding 73 off, 74 off. I don't even think they're worth playing. Unless you absolutely believe you have a huge edge versus him, but sorry, got distracted a bit. 5 queen 8 bets her. Alright, so we lead with our top pair. Interesting. This is part of the reason I don't really like leading, just because we're in kind of a weird spot here. I'm not too sure what I'd do in this spot, since I never get here, but... Alright, this is interesting. So... Where was I? So you opt to play 7-3 off, 8-3 off, and you fold 5 deuce off, I think it was. So, a bit confusing there on which hands you're selecting to play and selecting to fold. 6 deuce off, you'd opt to fold. It seemed like you were playing 100% VPIP, but you're not, so... Ace king suited, you're always doing a 3x. That's a mistake. Give me 1 second. Oh, might have a bit of an... Yeah. Anyway. Could check raise this. I don't mind folding, I guess. Okay, we opt to check raise here. Not a good card for your check raise range. You're continuing 100% here. Oh, don't fold. Oh, so when it's a when it's a trip flop like this, he's c betting 100%. You're defending 100%. Still want to be limping 6-4 off there. Actually, 8 bigs might be a fold. It's fine. Oh, okay. That's a big mistake. This is a big mistake. Open folding 6-4 off is fine, but this is a big mistake. Again, sizing's a bit big here. You want to use 2.5. Good value bet here. Again, I think all his value bets the turn. So I always think you're ahead. That spot. You were. Have to remember when he shuts down on the turn, he's really weak. This is a jam a lot of the time. King 9 off at 11 bigs. I think it's almost 100% a jam at 11 bigs. Oh. Your big ISO sizing should be 6.5 over here. I don't mind a check raise on the turn here. And rip it on any non-diamond, non-club. You could rep Queen 9 a lot here. You can't really rep Ace Queen, which sucks, but you can rep Queen 9. Because what's kind of your plan here when you float the turn and you just break, like, even if you hit a queen, you're not too happy, right? But he bets here on the turn, right? You hit a queen, you're like, fuck, I have to fold it anyway. Or you just hope he doesn't bet. You hit a 5, you're still not that happy. Like, what's your continuation plan? Like, floating kind of really sucks. You're hoping to hit an ace or a 9, but I kind of like a raise a lot better. And just, if no diamond, no club comes, you just rip it. And if you're gonna be ISOing with hands like this, they should be big ISO. I like the check raise on the bottom here. This is, I don't like the jam with 7s. 13 effective when he ISOs 3s with 7. It's always a flat, so that's another inaccuracy. You should always be flatting here. All your pocket pairs actually are flatting, except forgot which one, like 4s. Nice run, man. Over here, I like starting to bet. You generally want to upsize. 50% is not a good size here. Sizes I'd take are 75% mostly, and then small frequency of pot, small frequency of overbet. You could even check a bit too, but it doesn't really have a half pot size here. Ooh, that's a call all the time. Queen jack off. Pretty big mistake to fold there. Even if you think his range is really strong, doesn't really matter. Three bets, you call. What's love repping here? Probably has some value. What's not very happy with that 5? Guess he has 6x as well. Like a better 6x or something? Maybe 6-8? He'd probably keep betting 6-8. Um, like, what's he leading here? Oh, I didn't see that. He was probably just leading as a bluff when turn paired. Okay. Yeah, he did have 6. I think you still bet this river anyway. I mean, you don't have a heart, but you're still blocking 6-7, and you still decided to take the line to bet. Um, if you're betting this turn, you're betting the river a lot, I think. Even though you don't block hearts. I think it's a bit too tight to give up here. Unless you think that he's never folding a pair. Because he never has a 9 here. If Love has a 9 here, he's raising all the time. And even if he hits hearts or something, you're just gonna raise and you have an easy fold. Otherwise, I think you're just kind of giving him the hand here. I think his 5s have a bit of trouble calling as well, given how tight he is. So I kind of like you betting the turn than betting like at least pot on the river. Like, yeah, you'd rather have 6 of hearts, jack of hearts here, but I don't think it's a bad bluff to continue. You're still blocking 6-7, which is pretty big. Big ISO with that, that's pretty okay. I like the float on the top. Also, note that King 9 here should be a jam a lot of the time. Again, um, at 12 bigs as well, you're still jamming it a lot. So it's a bit of a mistake because I don't think you're RNGing your frequencies. I like the bet here. Sizing's alright as well. We're importing mid game. What is this? Nine five, 9-5 bottom right. Check call. Check call. Check call. I mean, I think it's fine. Very okay with that. And if he rips it, you're snap calling. You're blocking the straight. I don't think you need to check raise it or anything. Over here, I like a pot. I mean, it's fine, given that there's a straight on the board. But you're blocking it too. I kind of like a pot there. He donks here. This is really gay because I think he has a jack almost all the time. You have the nut blocker to call it, but I honestly think I find a fold here versus him. I don't think he's talented enough to find a bluff here. Yeah, like Love Only Love is not talented enough to find a bluff on this river that I think you actually have to fold when he does this. And to like, I'm not shocked at all that he actually just shows up with the nuts here. Like, to no surprise at all to nobody. It's just like a snap fold all the time. He never has a bluff here. You 100% have to exploit fold here. Like, you have the nut blocker. Yeah, you have the 10 of hearts. That's the best blocker to call with, but you can't make that call versus him. He's not good enough. He's not creative enough. He's not talented enough to find a bluff there that you just have to fold. I like it. You're mixing some frequency of king six off shoves. I hope you're shoving queen six off, queen five off, king five off, king four off as well. Otherwise, you're a bit unbalanced there. Should be a 2.5, not a 3. You know, I'm just gonna screenshot that one hand. Send it to him. Alright. I don't mind checking all the way here. That's fine. Probably just giving up on queen 10. I mean, you could rip it on this river, but you're not really repping too much. Again, 2.5. Betting's fine. Always betting here. That's not an open jam. That's a limp trap all the time. You should not be open jamming your suited aces until like 8 bigs. Mistake. If you wanted to check raise this, you'd want to have king 5, ace 5. Queen 5, it's not very great to check raise with. That's how you delay a bit. So maybe you had that in mind. Um, Given this run out, I'm probably value betting my 5 versus him again. He's betting a lot of his value. On the turn, probably trying to get value from a 3 or a 2 here. He's probably just gonna check it back. Yeah, as he does all the time. You wanna use a big ISO sizing here. Again. 7-3 off is a big ISO size. You would double barrel the 8-4 hand. Yeah, I tend to agree. Up here with 8-4, we bet. Again, as stated before, we want to bet a bit bigger. He calls. We have the nut blocker with the 4 of hearts to rip it, but massive on the river. That's a good point. I think it's a bit of a tight check here. This is probably one of your best bluff candidates. But he pots, so he probably has it. Classic love. So you might have saved yourself some money there, but I think that's definitely a river you want to rip it on. Yep, similar spot to the 9-5 hand off, the 9-5 off hand earlier. You could bet a bit bigger there, but half pot's okay. I don't mind it. You could have bet turn, yeah. See, this is a big mistake. You're not open jamming 7-6 suited, 15 bigs, 16 bigs. That's a big mistake. Like at 16 bigs, your open jam range is like a small frequency of queen jack off, a small frequency of jack 10 off, deuces, threes, ace 4 off, small frequency ace 5 off, small frequency ace 6 off. Pretty much it, I think. You're never open shoving 7-6 suited there. I think that's a pretty big mistake. I think I mentioned to you as well that you open jammed like 9-6 suited at some point. Like the only time you're gonna start open jamming 7-6 suited is like 12 bigs. I'm pretty sure. Until then it's, or even 13 bigs you're probably open shipping it, but 16 is way too deep. Like it's a big mistake. He donks pot. Interesting. I mean, your hand's too good to fold still, though. Like, I think you have a lot of backdoors that you can continue there. I mean, I agree that he's probably nutted there, but your hand is, like, really good. Sorry, should have full screened it. My bad. Got a big ass monitor. I can't tell the difference. I don't mind the raise on the bottom. Again, like you have to go a bit bigger than that though. Your size is a bit small. But yeah, let's go back to our notes, boys. Where is it? River half pot slash small bet equals weak slash medium strength. What did we see here, boys? What did we see here? Love only love bets quarter pot or third pot. and we decide to raise. What does he do? He folds. Sizings that we take on the river here are probably 3x, 4x, 3.5x, somewhere around those range. Love Only Love has an insane amount of sizing tells, that being one of them. Um, Not a huge fan of the sizing here. Like, I get that you want to induce calls, but you also want to get max value from any 6 steady rivers, so you kind of want to bet, like, pot at least. Pot 1.5. You're not, don't, thank God. I've been pretty upset if you open shoved ace 4 suited. And to check it down. Um, so just to understand things here, like, this is where I'm saying that you have like some confusion in your ranges, in that some hands you're playing that are really really weak, and then some hands are slightly stronger that you decide to play anyway. Like 6-4 off earlier, it was a correct fold. You folded it at 8 bigs, but now you're playing 4-3 off at 9 bigs. I don't understand the logic here. Um, might be because you're on focus or something, or I don't know. Mm, 3x under 10 bigs is wrong. You should be using like a 2.3x size, 0.5, something like that, as your ISO sizing. Mm. Right, so should notice Love Only Love is unable to bluff with 7 high here, right? This is further proving that his bet ranges are super merged, right? He has 7 high, he's checking it down 3 streets. Like, how awful is this guy? I kind of like. Okay, so you planning on folding here? Um, I'm getting a lot of 100s. Love Only Love and Brainwave Dance duking it out at 50s. I have to see that. Ah, beautiful. You get to sit hundreds. These idiots will fight in 50s. Beautiful. So it looks like you're gonna fold here, but you have to remember that you have backdoors with queens, backdoor straights, and any king and queen, or any king and ace. You're pretty happy. Call, like, you're winning the hand if you hit those, right? Unless you assume that his check raise range is only 2 pair and up. Like, even if he has 10x here, you're pretty okay. The float. I think that's. I don't know if you have a hard read that his check raise is only two pair plus, but if it's even just top pair, you're supposed to be continuing there. Like, assume that he always has 10x here. You have so many outs. Let's say Jack peels on the turn. That's so many outs that you still have to hit on the river. Even if he jams, you have backdoor straight. You have a gut shot at that point, and you have top two that you can still hit. That you're very okay like calling it off with. Um, you can even have Jack nine here. I mean, I don't know if he's talented enough to find a check raise with Jack nine off here, but even then, like, let's say he has Jack nine here, you're still ahead. You are like, we can assume that he has a lot of value, but if we're assuming that his value is top pair, it includes top pair, I think we're still okay calling here. Because if we hit a king or ace, we're beating his top pair. Also noted, actually, I don't know if I noted it, but when Love Only Love check raises, if it's a bluff, he automatically shuts down on the turn. If he check raises and it's value, he does check raise air sometimes. If he check raises um and it's air, he'll always shut down. If he check raises and has value, he's always gonna shove the turn. If the turn is not something that devalues his hand. So let's say it's a deuce turn, he's gonna rip it 100% of the time with his 10, like no questions asked. So I think given that we have the read that he's gonna shut down every time it's a bluff here, given that he misses, then I think you still have reason to call here. Something to note, like, so it seems like he hasn't been check raising you much here, but actually I do know from personal experience that his check raise does have some bluffs, and he always does shut down when it's air. Once you call the flop, I think that's just like a huge compelling argument to not fold ace king there. Yeah, you're shoving three deuce suited. If he pots here, we snap fold. Yep, obviously he pots. Obviously has Jack 8 or something like that. Um, Given that it's love, I like shutting down here. You have anti blockers. You can't really rep anything other than a 5, I guess. Like, that's the only thing you're repping, but I don't think his tens are folding. You're never repping an ace. Your nines are not value betting here, so I like the shutdown versus him. Don't really want to min raise ace 3 off that much. Like, you're min raising it like 20%. What do I think about flatting instead of check raising the 7x? Flatting's okay. Both are fine. I think you still continue on that turn, but I think this was a bit of a tight fold. You're unblocking clubs. You're unblocking 10-8. I guess he has a lot of 9x here, given the way you played it, and you kind of just said that I don't have a 9. The way you played it like this. I still think you shouldn't be folding there. You have too much equity to be folding, and too many draws didn't get there. If love shoves here, I'm pretty sure we're folding, because it's never a bluff. Hope you fold. Good fold. Well played. You could raise here, but I don't mind you folding. Very okay with your fold. Okay, we're finally betting bigger. I like that. We're gonna bet again. Sizing's okay. Snap calling. Call. Like checking twice here, that was fine. I don't like your check raise on the turn though. Because aces really favor his range. So he's incentivized to bet and then bet again. You're not really scared of much given your hand and giving the board texture. So your raise doesn't really make sense unless you actually have it. Like the only things you're supposed to be check raising here really are if you actually have ace X. But since you don't, and you kind of want him to bluff his ace X, then yeah, I like just flatting a lot better. Ace 4 suited is a limp call. It's the bottom of your limp call suited aces at 18 bigs. If he has an ace there, he's gonna call regardless, right? He is. But so look at it, think of it in the perspective of him, right? What are you check raising here? What are you supposed to be check raising? You check the flop and then you check raise the turn. What am I check raise? What is Villian check raising here ever with? They're only check raising here when they have it. I mean, you want him to be repping his aces and to continue repping his ace on the river, right? By check raising here, you're saying, yeah, I have an ace, or I have better. I always have better here, actually, because aces don't really favor my range, especially not this short. Right? How many aces does Bet the Nuts have 14 bigs in a limp pot? Very little. He has like 5 aces, maybe less. Ace 4 suited, ace 3 suited, ace 2 suited. Like, what else does he have? Right? And even then, if he has ace 3 suited, he still wants to flat. Because that's 2 pair. So then what else? What else does he have? 2 pair, right? But if you check raise here, you're also eliminating all of his bluffs. He's not gonna have any bluffing range on the river. Yeah, bet the Love Only Love doesn't really bluff the river much anyway. Well, you know what? Actually, let me take all of that back. Let me take all of that back. Right. Now let's go back to this read. Where is it? very merged turn c-bet range. Given that, given all that, actually, I kind of actually like this now. Because this is almost always value then, actually. Is love only love good enough to value bet or to bluff when an ace turn comes? Is love only love good enough to bluff here and rep the ace? I don't think so, actually. Because if he did have value, he's probably betting pot. I don't know. I kind of want to believe that versus a normal opponent, you want to just flat here if you think in the scope of what you're repping, what his range is, and all that, everything I just said previously. But given that we're playing love only love, given that we're playing this guy, maybe check raising is actually better. So you know what? I give you the green light. Because we're playing love only love, I give you the green light. Good job. Well played. I take it back. You played that well. Because he's not going to be value betting the river with a 9 there, with a 7 there. So I think you get your value now. Well played. I take all of that back. You played that well. Good job. Does love only love ever have an ace here? I think you float and like this is like a 7. You either float or raise. Like what the fuck is he repping here? If he has a straight, he's betting pot. Be 2.5. We don't use a 3x at 10 bigs. That's a mistake. We do not use 4x with ace 10 suited. Use it with ace 10 off, I'm pretty sure. No, I'm gonna go check that. Sure. Make sure. Oh, you're actually right. Huh. You actually do use a big size of ace 10 suited. My bad. Well played. Made a pre-flop mistake, boys. Fan. That. Easy fold there. Right. Love only love. Bets very merged. We're gonna check. Damn. Like it. Well played. Get our value now. Yeah, I like the sizing there. Well played. Easy ship with king 3 off. Use the good sizing for your donk. We're playing well, boys. We got this under control. Do you call with 3 bigs? Like 3 deuce off? I don't even know. I guess you do, right? What are you supposed to do there? Could mix in some check raises here. Flattening's okay too. Now, if Love Only Love's betting range here is flush, jack, and six. Everything else he checks. So if he bets, we're snap folding, boys. Yep, he's not talented enough to even value bet two pair here. So if he bets, you snap fold. His turn is very merged. His river is very polar. 9-3 suited should be a min raise a lot. Not sure why you arbitrarily opted to upsize to 30% there. Okay. True, it's not polar actually. It's only value. My bad. I take that back. It's only value. um, he uses 60% here a lot. Polar between nuts and second nuts. I like to continue betting over here. I like the fold. Check raise is fine. I think it's a bit big for the stack depth, but I think it's okay. I would have been happy with you continuing to bet on the turn because you can still rep an ace, but it's okay. Okay, good. I was gonna say if you bet here, I don't really understand it given that you check the turn. That mm, add it. Yeah, that shouldn't be a shove at. Yeah, 9 bigs. This is a limp. Good call. It's a limp call. Should not be an open shove. Ooh, it's never a check back. Never check back at 9 bigs. Queen nine with king nine. That's like always a big ISO. Or you can even jam it, but I'm pretty sure Skier always big ISOs this before. But okay, it's okay. Well, so I guess Love Only Love is polar with blockers occasionally. He can find bluffs. Proof that he is polar on the river. Proof that he is polar on the river. He does have bluffs, boys. So I retract that statement. He is merged on the turn. He is polar on the river. I like bluffing this turn a lot. You have blocker to 8-7 and king queen and queen 8. Um, you're just gonna be betting this turn and betting the river a lot. I think to this bet to the one you even raise it. Like yeah, you don't have clubs, but you block all the straights. So I'm pretty sure that has to be a bet a lot of times, or even a raise. I think that was a bit of a mistake. Let me get like 4.5. I don't mind the check. I also like betting here, actually. I like betting here just because you can get a lot of value from his threes and fours. You can also improve to a lot of things that he might not call, but you're still you still have top kicker as well, so you're not too worried even if he has a king, which he never has because he's always betting his king anyway. But if you get check raise on this turn, you're snap calling 100%, and you're not even upset. You hit a deuce, you hit an ace, you hit a heart. There's so many. You hit a five. There's so many outs that you're just like, okay. You could have also check raised ace five, yeah. Given that you have ace kicker, it's pretty good. Check raising with ace five is fine there. You do not want to three bet jam that though. So I'm even if you're not playing skier, this is still a three bet, but skier never three bet jams versus min raise here. Um, skier would make it. Pretty sure it would make it 7. It mixes between making it 7 and 5. So this is a bit mistake. You could do it with ace 10 off. You jam with ace 10 off, but not ace 10 suited. Pretty sure you're calling with king 9 off there. Bottom of your calling range. Yeah, king 9 off's a call. Going back to this, I think you actually value bet the river here. Because love only love will always value bet his 9 on the turn. He'll always value bet his 10 on the flop. He might even value bet his 6 on the turn. I think he always has air or 3x here, and you want to value bet like half pot on the river here. I think you can start betting this turn, but I don't mind you checking. I like the idea of betting on the river. I don't think your jack's good enough. Yeah. I think he has a lot of missed ace X or king X that aren't very happy calling on the river if you make it pretty big. Like I would have started betting on the turn or river. At least bluff on the river. Your jack is never good here. And I think he almost always bets a pair here, so I like the jam. Shut down on top, I think. You don't have the right properties to rip it on the river. So I like the shutdown with 6-5 off there. Probably fold that. The min raise on the top. Good fold. Jack 6. Could opt to shove that. You're not RNGing these, so can't really tell how you're playing them. Yeah, true. You should be open shoving this. King 6 off should be a shove. You're even open shoving King 5 off here. Queen 10 suited is for some reason the one suited Broadway combo that you do not ISO. Actually, you're ISOing Jack 10 suited. You're ISOing Queen Jack suited, King Queen suited, King Jack suited, King 10 suited. You're not ISOing Queen 10 suited. This is a mistake. Yeah, you're calling it off anyway, but just a small inaccuracy. Um, it's like a super. If you're ISOing this, it's a super small frequency that it's like almost negligible. And if you're doing it, it's a big ISO. Or yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a big ISO, but like not even ISO. So check, you bet, yeah, call. You limp ace jack off. That's good. So you are mixing your frequencies on the limps. Snap call, played. I don't see a point in betting here. Um, you have a lot of showdown. There's really no point to it. Just kind of value town yourself. That bet was pointless. Um, yeah, mixing between 5 and 3 here are good. I saw you opt for 5, but decided to 3. So you're mixing your frequencies, which is good. I don't mind you betting over here because you can rip a lot of the threes. You can hit a lot of 5 or a 10. You might just fold if you bet when a 3 comes. Yeah, he probably would have folded if you bet with 3 here. Okay, so this time, earlier in the video, you decided to see bet 100% of your top pairs. Now you're opting to trap some, or to check some back, which is good. You decided to choose a good hand to check it back with. So now I'm a bit confused on how you're balancing your flop c-bet range. I don't know if you're using an RNG or something, but earlier in a very similar spot, you decided to c-bet with Jack 3 off on a similar board. Now you're checking it. I mean, it's good. You should be checking this. I'm just wondering why you decided to c-bet it, to check it now. I would have taken the same line. Well played. Probably won't. I'll probably do a bit longer and then call it. I like the bet here. 60% doesn't make too much sense. That's a pretty dry turn. So if you're gonna continue betting, you're probably gonna want to bet pot or ever bet a lot here. It probably has a small frequency of quarter pot, but or even check, but it probably never uses a half pot here. Unless you actually hit a 9, then you could use a half pot, but in that spot, it doesn't make too much sense. Also, Jack 10 suited should be a limp here. I guess you could adjust against love, maybe, and open shove a bit more since he doesn't like ISO too much. So I guess I don't hate it. But from a GTO perspective, you're limping a lot. I don't hate it entirely against love. But like that's obviously an exploit jam. That's a mistake. You're never open jamming ace 3 suited. Pretty sure I sang this. Yeah, actually. Maybe you're ISOing more with 9-8 suited. 10-9 suited, you actually check a bit more. I like the flat though. You could have check raised too. Fine. You're always value betting the river there versus. Alright, so now we're betting here. Like, I don't know if you're RNGing this somehow in your head. I don't know if you're using kickers. I don't know if it's because you have a backdoor. As you use here, I like half pot. Checker jam. Why are we checking Jack 5 off? Um, I guess he wants to balance his bet check bet range, I guess, since he bet the flop. Hard for me to say because I don't really see bet this on the flop. I don't really end up in this spot too much. Hard for me to comment. I'm checking. I would probably take a bet on the flop, a check on the flop, bet turn, bet river, instead of betting flop, checking turn. Jack three off, limp seven. I think GTO actually folds it, but I probably missed it because I probably make the mistake of limping it myself. So, but yeah, I'm pretty sure GTO does actually fold Jack three off. I probably make the mistake of limping it myself, so I probably missed that. You should have some. I'm noticing that you like to um ISO shove a lot of your small offsuit aces. Uh, I hope that you're balancing by checking back some of them sometimes. Yeah, this is a spot you're talking about that you limp. Um, GTO should fold it. I do make the mistake of, or quote unquote exclude, I guess, of limping it. Probably why I missed that. But yeah, that's a good jam here. Yes, agreed. But I think if we're gonna bet the flop, we should go with it there. I don't think it matters too much. Checking's okay. It doesn't really matter. If it's a two, if it's a hand that you're betting for two streets, doesn't matter how you decide to bet it. If you're gonna bet it, you're gonna bet it at the flop. You're gonna bet at the turn. You're gonna bet it on the turn river. You're gonna bet on the flop or river. It doesn't matter. Well, we clearly know that he can bluff the river. We saw a bluff, right? So there is a small frequency that he can bluff. So I think it's wrong to assume that um, he'll never bluff. I think it's. I don't think it really matters which streets you choose. As long as you're betting two streets, I don't think it really matters. If you went bet check check, then I think it's a big mistake. Um, I think the bluff is probably a misclick. I think if you decide to bet it, it's definitely a two street thing. I don't think it really matters otherwise. Uh, pretty sure you're limp calling this. Jack 8 suited. Pretty sure that's a mistake. Like I'm snap calling this. Uh, what are you folding? Like I think the bottom of your calling range is Jack 8 suited, and you're folding Jack 7 suited. But Jack 8 suited, you have to call. A spot. Versus most opponents, I just snap this off, but I'm probably folding versus love because this is like 7x all the time. Yeah, don't don't limp that. Fold, yeah, Fold. Right now we decide to check Jack 9. I guess it's fine. I probably would triple barrel with my Jack 9 here though. Big ISO this. Pretty sure King Jack off is like always an ISO here. Like 100%. You can check King 10, but King Jack off is almost 100% ISO. Like, you maybe check it back 10%, but alright. Love Only Love decided to value bluff Ace Deuce here. I don't understand it. Okay. A7 is a small frequency jam there, by the way. I hope you don't do it too much. It's like a 10-20% jam. Whoa, 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 whoa. This is never, ever a bluff. If he jams the river here, it's never a bluff. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. I think you snap fold here. You bet. So you led here, you bet, and then jam. I think this is never bluff. I just fold it there. Hard for me to comment on the spots where you donk because I don't really know what I'm doing on the turn there or river. But given that he shoves the river, you always fold it. Think you missed the value bet here. Again, assume that his turn betting range is very, very merged. He's gonna be betting all his queens. He's gonna be betting all his sixes. He's probably gonna be trying to bluff sometimes with a 7. He does have ace 8-7 here. You had a 9 here and it goes check check on the turn. Like, you're always value betting the river here. I think you missed value here again. Again here. Actually, never mind. I thought you had queen 9. Never mind. You almost pressed call. That gave me a heart attack. I'm not a fan of your 60% size. Like, just not used. Like, solvers don't really use that. Kind of awkward. Okay, good. You didn't jam that. Do I value bet the river here? I mean, do I bluff the river here? I think it's okay to check and go to showdown because you block spades. I think if you had 10-3 off, no spades, I think you still try to bluff him off any pair he has here. I think he's gonna have a hard time calling with any pair that he has. Kind of like floating one here. I don't really like folding king x. Checking lobs. He wants to know if anyone's sneaking. Making sure. We're on lob duty. No sneakers on our watch. I think you double barrel here. You go pretty big. Bigger than that. You want to bet at least pot here. Pot or overbet on dry turns are usually the sizes that you take. You could. I actually think you do float a turn bet here. Any 10 queen jack, you win the hand. I think it's a bit, especially since he's giving you a cheap price. I think it's a big mistake to fold here. You could open jam that small frequency. Call or check raise are both fine. I kind of like calling a bit more. Maybe if you low roll, you can check raise. Check a tiny bit. So we opt to check or bet one. I don't like the size. Uh, you either check or overbet with your two pairs here. Betting half pot is just not really used. If I were in your shoes here, I probably would have overbet the turn. And now that straight completes, we probably bet pot or 75%. Giving us a price to call on the top. I like betting a lot here. We have a lot of deuces that he'd probably like. We have a bit more deuces here. Actually, yeah, we have a small amount of deuces more. So I kind of like betting a bit more here. That's implying that he folds ace deuce, 8 deuce off, 7 deuce off, stuff like that. So I like to lead. And then you decide to bet on the river, on a really bad river. So not too happy with this spot. I think you have to bet on the turn. On the river, the flush completes. We don't block the flush. The ace is super good for his range. We don't even block 4-5 here. I think you're much better off betting the turn, and if you check the turn, you check the river. Like, you don't really want to go to showdown with 9 high, but still, like, it's hard for you to grab anything there. Like, if I'm in his shoes, I'm calling you off with queen high there. Jamming that. Okay, we do decide. No, you almost had it. You were supposed to jam it. You were so close. You were so close. Heartbreak. Okay, interesting spot. He leads the turn, shuts down the river. Love only love never has it here. He probably has like 6-5 or something. I don't know. He doesn't have it on the server. I like a value bet. Oh, he has 10-5. Okay. Okay. Never mind. Why the fuck is he donking the turn? I'm very confused. Definitely value bet this here, though. I think it's pretty tight. I think if Love Only Love has a 4 or diamond, he's always potting the river. You have to value bet that river. I think this is a good fold. He raises and then yeah, he raises and jams. He always has a 3. That's a good fold. Oh, bet, easy bet. I don't mind checking, but now you're betting this turn. Again, you want to use a bigger size on that ace. You probably want to pot bet. Seeing a bit of turn bet size inaccuracies, I guess. I mean, if he rips it here, you're still calling. You're not very happy, but calling. Actually, you are pretty happy with that run out. Jam. Bet. Call. Call. Easy check. If he jams, you snap fold 8-3. Easiest fold of your life against Love. Against any other player, actually, I think I call here with 8-3 because I'm not blocking diamonds. But against Love, easiest fold of your career. I like betting on this river. We block 3-5. We block clubs. I don't think we're gonna go. I mean, we might win at showdown, but I like bluffing this river a lot. Probably at least a pot bet. You would have folded 8. Just had really good blockers to bluff there. We opted to check. I want to time down a tiny bit. See, look, he bets pot. He has it. Standard Love. I think you can bluff this river. I think it's okay. You have king blocker. So you could rep king queen. Which, see, I would have tried to rep king queen here, but like you do have king high, so nice self control with those river folds. Yeah, I agree. I'm saying they're good specifically versus this guy. Versus almost anyone else, it's not the best. Alright, I'm gonna do like a last minute. Call it. Good open shove. 8-6. 12. Actually, I'm pretty sure 8-6 is 100% open shove at 12. Now I think about it. Nice bet on the turn. So yeah, this is a blunder as well. You're supposed to be open jamming 100%. Yeah, we're value betting the river. I don't think you needed to go that small. See, okay. It's one of those spots. The few bluffs that he has is when he bets. Like, the few bluffs that he has is raising on the river. Sometimes he has it, but this is one of those spots where he's actually polar as a bluff. So I think I'm calling it off here. Oh, well, I guess he has it. But he can show up with a bluff there. I think with this hand, you're just ripping it. Alright, I'm gonna call it here. Went through about half the video, a bit more than half. Good night.